Alrighty, it appears that we are live. Give me 1 second, let me verify that. Um, there we go. Yep, we are live. Awesome. I hope that everybody's doing well. Hope that you're staying safe and happy. Let me get these links out, then we can begin. Yeah, let me first get the mines, and then I'll get it to the Discord servers. Alrighty, that works. Now let me get it to the servers. Awesome. Uh-oh. Alrighty. Sorry, things are a little slow on my end. Just loading a little. There we go. And put it in this server. That's in. There it's in. Alrighty, now we're all set. Now, let me pull up the chat and we can begin. Alrighty. And before I actually get into it, let me just say, I'm still trying to figure out how I can string to both YouTube and Rumble. I'm looking into that right now. I'm not a tech guy, so forgive me. But the other thing too is that I'm also trying to figure out how to better this mic so that we get less crackle and background noises in it. Once again, I'm not a tech guy. I know a lot of folks think that this is easy stuff, and it probably is, but for me, it's very difficult to figure out. I sincerely apologize about that, but I do want it to work better eventually. And all I can say is that I'm currently working on it. But anyways, let's get going. Okay. So. And quick recap of what has just what's transpired. So we know that Maria is a horrible human being. And she's been playing both Jacopo and the white-haired girl against each other, making Jacopo believe there's an affair going on. And she acknowledges this, and it's obvious that it's like this could all be avoided if they were both to take the initiative and talk to each other themselves, but both of them are too scared to do that because for Jacopo that exhibits vulnerability, and to the white-haired girl she's afraid as to how he would react. So they're both kind of held back in terms of saving their relationship through fear. That's quite sad. And also, Jacopo had been attacked by somebody who lost his job because of his business. And the sad part is Jacopo thought that he was essentially trying to amend things with his wife, and unfortunately, turns out that he was speaking with the maid because he wasn't all there. Because I mean, it's hard to concentrate and think coherently in reality when you were just stabbed in the chest. So it's getting sad real quick, and I'm hoping, honestly, I mean, it's not going to end well, since we know how the other how the other doors ended. But yeah, this one especially. Unfortunately, I don't see it ending well for Jacopo nor the white-haired girl. But at this point, since it's probably going to go bad for them, all I can hope for is that Maria gets karma rather quickly, I would hope. But we'll see. It was all a dream. Of course it was. It wouldn't be that easy. And she would never come to my room. She's involved with other men. Jacopo, may I come in? I have another letter. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, I forgot to mention in the little recap is, so she's been turning all the letters that are addressed to him, and she has been switching out their addressees to other men. So that's really messed up. So everything that Jacopo's been reading has actually been his wife telling him how much she loves him, and he's instead reading them out to other people. The white-headed girl's persistent letters did not improve anything, but simply stoked the flames of misunderstanding. This continued for several months. Though outside, the sun shone with the gentle warmth of spring, the cold, bitter winds of winter still relentlessly blew between Jacopo and his wife. Not allowed to leave her shed and never receiving a reply to her letters, the white-haired girl's only source of information was Maria. Week after week, her circumstances remained the same, but something else was beginning to show signs of change. Her mental state. It's pointless, madam. You're only wasting your time at this point. I saw him throw your letter into the fireplace. He's not going to read anything you write, no matter how much of your soul you pour into it. He cares more about money and work than love. That's the kind of man he is. Just give up and file for divorce already. No. I will get through to him. Everything will go back to normal. I have faith. All my letters go up in flames, but my faith will not be lost without them. With them. Fuck. As long as I keep writing, eventually, I will get through to him. So I cannot stop. I cannot. Do you have any idea what he says about you, madam? Jacopo doesn't trust you in the slightest. He goes around calling you a witch. A man-eating devil woman. So even when it's not the literal sense, she still gets referred to that in each of these doors. That's interesting. It's awful. No one is pure and beautiful as you. He says I am a witch. Listen to me, madam. He never for a second actually loved you. He just wanted the influence attached to your name. Wanted to mingle with the upper class. He used you. But last year, when we went out together, he gave me the Fanacus wheel at the photography shop. He had the owner make it especially for me. He was just trying to win your favor. If he really cared for you, he wouldn't have gotten you a paper toy. He would have gotten you something like a ring, or a necklace, or some perfume, a nice dress, something women really like. Has he ever gotten you anything like that? Well, who's to determine that that's what a woman wants? I'm wondering if she'll catch up, if she'll bring that up to Maria. He doesn't have any feelings for me? Or she's going to manipulate you. I don't know. Something just tells me that the white-haired girl, even though that she, is a bit head in the clouds, I guess, I don't buy that she's stupid. So I do wonder, like, at what point does she interrogate for, like, proof of what Maria's saying? I'm sorry. I just couldn't stand to see you going through this, but I don't know when to shut my fat trap. I went too far. The last thing I need to be doing is hurting you worse. For everything I've said, your unwavering dedication is really impressive, madam. I know I've suggested you get a divorce, but to be honest, part of me kind of doesn't actually want you to split up. Despite knowing you staying with him is just causing you pain. You've made it this far. I'd like to see him make it all the way. Maybe he actually will start paying attention. Your sweetness can melt even his heart of steel. Yes, you're right. I will keep waiting. Keep writing. And I will not divorce him. Yeah, alright. So please, keep delivering my letters to him. You're my only remaining connection to the outside world. Oh yes, and one more thing. If it is not too much trouble, could you tell me how he has been and what he has been doing lately? I do not have much else to write about. So if I could at least relieve him of some of his work-related stress. I am his wife, after all. I should be able to do that much for him. I am his wife. Her dedication to him was perhaps closer to an obsession, but she did not seem to be conscientious of the fact that her obsession was killing her. She was visibly losing weight, and her spirit was breaking down. It is said that emotions fade with time, but the opposite can also be true. The act of waiting, of fervently believing for so many months despite the object of one's affections not returning to them, can tear apart a person's heart, crush their soul, shatter their spirit. No matter how radiant, how thick-skinned they may be. With enough time, it will wear anyone down. No one is immune. It's pointless, Jacopo. Wait all you want, you won't get her back. If she's going to be writing letters, she could at least write one for you. She looks so pure, pretty as an angel. But God Almighty, is it only how she looks? You've changed a bit. What? Have I? The old you would be yelling and screaming, chomping at the bit to go storming into in on the madam. Now you just go quiet. I'm just a little tired. You could break it off then. What? You've already made a name for yourself in high society. Nobody's going to suddenly start ignoring you. You've more than put her family name to good use. To put it in your own words, it's no longer necessary. This isn't something I really want to say, but the madam has never liked you. She was married off to a total stranger and forced to leave her home. I'm sure she felt very alone. And she sought the companionship of other men. Anyone who wasn't you probably seemed quite attractive to her. So, without getting violent or threatening to kill her or anything, just end it already, quietly and without a fuss. It'll be easier for you that way. I cannot. Because you still love her? That's wonderful, Jacopo. After everything, you still love her? That's just blind, slavish devotion at this point. Perhaps it is a foolish, unhealthy obsession, but I still do not wish to sever ties with her. I cannot get the image of her smile out of my head. The look of utter elation on her face as she looked through the phenacoscope. Forgive me for not saying that word right again. Those captivating eyes beneath the veil at her wedding. I will never, for as long as I live, forget those sights. Color me surprised. You're a sentimental one. Well, I guess you always have a kind of mushy, haven't you? True to your heart, despite how you may look. That's not a bad thing, though, in my book. There's nothing but pain in for you now, but all you can do is wait until she stops writing. But don't worry, if you need to let off some steam, I'm all ears. I'll be here for you until she breaks it off with the other men. No, that will not be necessary. What? I know very well that things cannot continue on it as they are forever. I knew it from the beginning and still couldn't do anything. This time, I'm planning on facing her myself. You're serious, Jacopo? Yes. I've relied on you for too long. I was afraid of what I might do to her. I didn't want anyone to find out that my wife was being unfaithful. And I thought the best way to ensure that was by locking her up away from everyone else. But the situation is not going to improve unless I do something. If I allow things to continue as they are, sooner or later, word of her infidelity will leak. So before that happens, I must face her myself. I must do something. It's probably best if you didn't. I'll tell her anything you want. Make sure things start improving. I appreciate everything you've done, and I apologize for getting you involved in our troubles. But I'm going to end it now. No, I must put an end to it. This is a problem between me and her. You might get violent again if you see her face to face. Yes, I might. I might do something that would look rather bad for me. But it's reached a point where, until the two of us face up to each other, it's never going to go away. It took me far too long. I wasted too much time trying to find my resolve. I see. You'll need a way to break the ice, then. Break the ice? Right. If you've got some convenient excuse to talk to her, it'll reduce some tension and make it easier to bring up what you need to bring up, right? Here's an idea. The Transcontinental Railroad you've been funding. That's supposed to be an opening, pretty soon, right? Yes, it is. There'll be a message by telegraph when it happens, right? You can ask her to be there to hear it. And then you can invite her to ride the first train. You've put your heart and soul into this project, and it's finally being realized. It's going to be an amazing day for you, and a day like that is ripe for more good things to happen. It's going to be the accomplishment of a lifetime. Don't look so down in the dumps. You're sending trains across the massive continent, carrying on them the people of this country's dreams. Who says you can't stick a dream of your own on it, too? Right. Yes, you have a point. A railroad that spans from coast to coast. She's a sickly girl, which makes long trips difficult. But this new rail system should make them much less straining. It would allow me to show her the world. Yeah, it's perfect. I'm getting excited myself. It'll go great, I'm sure of it. Yeah. That is a cute way to try to patch things up, but my problem is, well, judging by her laughing right here, she's gonna find a way to fuck that up. Oh god, my fucking sides. Seriously, they're a goddamn riot, the both of them. They keep on trusting me and keep on getting hurt. They don't have to be going through any of this. Oh my god, Maria, you're terrible. And these people call me the Holy Mother. I bet the real Mary's rolling in her fucking grave. Now, I must say, I wasn't expecting you to make a move, Jacopo. A shame that. The squirming loser, paralyzed by insecurity, is a better role for you. If they do end up figuring it out, tough shit. Doesn't hurt anything, just takes away a bit of my fun. I don't understand why he's so infatuated with this railroad. I mean, I do sort of get romanticizing steel, but that kind of steel's a little smaller scale. Anyway, I suppose it's about time to get things moving. No matter how this plays out, you will not have a happy ending, Jacopo. You're going to get a real taste of how much I despise you. So, I mean, if she was playing him all along, then she never really cared for him. But I didn't know that she despised him that much. I was thinking maybe she wanted him for herself. Maria, oh, there you are. What is it? I'm on break right now. You were assigned to clean the cellar today, weren't you? Well, headmaid's saying it hasn't been done yet. What? I did. I cleaned it. Just a casual once-over, but hey. Well, do it again, and do it right this time. Because if you don't, it's gonna fall on me. And that's supposed to make me give a damn? I mean it. You take care of it. You get enough special treatment as it is. Yeah, right. I heard you the first time. I'll take care of it. And don't you forget it. Oh, for God's sake. Why should I have to be the one to tell her? Is she gone? Ugh, what a pain. Who cares if the damn cellar is clean? Not like anyone's bringing guests down there, yeesh. I guess I should take care of it. Better that than a tongue lashing by the head maid. God, why did I have to be a maid anyway? What a dank place. It's so dark and humid down here. Makes me feel gross. Someone there? Hello? Hello? Is anyone in there? It came from farther in. Oh, it's seriously dusty back here. Who was supposed to clean this last week? Well, clean the whole thing next time, damn it. Just makes my job harder. Disgusting. Ugh, damn cobwebs. Oh, God. Oh, dear God. I do not want to clean this. Huh? Ow, 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 for God's sake. Stack this stuff properly. I've got to fix this whole mess. Oh, for the love of... What's this? Something carved into the floor. Never noticed this before. Someone got bored one day? What do we have here? Bah, it's mostly illegible. Let's see. It's not written in English, but my native language. But it's not modern. It's really archaic. Why on earth would an old form of my country's language be carved into the floor of a mansion built in the New World? Most of it's illegible, but I can make out one section. Our lives. Our lives shall be forfeit to the witch's curse. Nevertheless, we must lay bare with those sin upon their souls, for the redemption of those whom are pure. Should ye mean not to dispel your curse, we implore of you, O witch, to mark with it only their bloodlines. The blood of the sinners flows through those who dwelt within this house, but not I. What in the... Oh, witch. That's crazy. That's crazy. But why does the handwriting look like mine? It's just coincidentally similar. No one's handwriting is perfectly unique, after all. Well, yeah, you've been faking the handwriting of the white-haired girl. Why am I so sweaty? It's not that hot down here. Nope. Forget it. Didn't see a thing. Not a chance it's real. Just a tasteless prank. This is silly. There's something in this box. Is that a painting? Has this always been here? Huh? White hair? Fair skin? Is this the madam? But then... why is the face all torn up? Oh. And her clothes look really old-fashioned. The painting seems worn and faded too. Something about it feels off. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's very creepy, unsettling. The writing on the floor in this painting. What is with this house? So I'm assuming that's the painting from the first door. Unless we get a look at it, or a more in-depth description. I'm thinking that's what it is. And I wonder who was saying that they're exempt from the bloodline. It's just a painting. Nothing to get weirded out over. I bet I know what happened. Jacob will probably slash it up in a fit of jealousy. He is a simple man. Seeing this probably wouldn't put him in the best mood. was that? Is someone there? The door is open? Nobody's there. What's this? A painting? Who could have left it here? Is that me? Why? But my face, it's been cut. No. Why would someone have this painted just to do this? Who would do such a thing? You're like a witch, my dear. Like a demon. Your very presence brings misfortune upon others. You're cursed. No, I am not. I am not. Was it you, Jacopo? Did you have this painted so you could destroy it? Do you really despise me to that extent? Why? Why do you... What did I ever do to make you hate me so? Why? Why? All I am doing is waiting for you. You worthless tramp. Are those ears only for show? This house has no need of a garden. I always thought you had at least some sense of taste. Silence! It's all your fault, every last thing. Then say goodbye to your freedom. I'll kill you. Does the mere act of waiting impose upon you? Does my mere presence pervert you? Would it be better if I were gone? Would it be better if I left this mansion? If I left you? I don't think I can wait much longer. There's no end in sight. I can't take it any. There is no end. No. I will set a deadline for when I give up waiting. When the project you pour your heart and soul into is complete, when the railroad opens, I will be finished waiting. And then it's over. Oh, man. Oh, it's 10 degrees of messed up. Oh, man. Because here's the thing. I sincerely doubt it's going to be as simple as she just leaves and Jacopo's depressed. Something more drastic's going to happen. I'm getting scared as to what that is going to be. Whether that's Jacopo gets violent or I honestly could see the white-haired girl killing herself. Oh boy, I'm nervous. The Pacific Railroad's last spike ceremony was drawing nearer by the day. That day was, coincidentally, the deadline the two of them had set for themselves. Jacopo to confront his wife, and the white-haired girl to wait for him. And as that day approached, she continued to write letters. She wrote the letters purely by force of habit, despite having been worn visibly thin. I expected she could not stop, that the act of writing was all that kept her from going mad. By focusing her attention on another person through her letters, she was able to maintain her grip on herself. But that day would put an end to her suffering and despair. When the railroad was completed, all their misunderstandings would be cleared up. they would return to the smiling, happy couple they had been when they were first married. The harsh winter finally came to a close, melting away in the past and allowing them to step into the future. With constant prayer in my heart, I impatiently awaited the railroad's opening ceremony. I do not, after all, wish for anyone to fall into any kind of misfortune. And that goes for you as well, Master. Now, Master, the door is soon to be shut upon this era. Are you prepared what happens next? Not before I save. Oh boy, I'm nervous to see what happens next. I see. Very well. Then allow us to make our way to that final day. See with your own eyes, Master, how this tale concludes. And please, do not let go of my hand. The night before the opening ceremony, the master of the house headed for his wife's shed. There was a tension on his face, but a surety in his step. He had found the resolve to speak with her. Having locked her away for so long in the shed like a common prisoner, Jacopo was hardly optimistic about what she might say to him. He had undeniably mistreated her, said heartless and cruel things to her, and even gotten physically violent with her. His actions were inexcusable, even if they were in response to her infidelity. Of course, the very infidelity which had driven him to such behavior had not, in fact, taken place, but he was unaware of that. There was a chance they would never reconcile their misunderstandings, and that this predicament would not have a positive resolution, but he still clung to a tiny fragment of hope. He wanted to start over with the white-haired girl, to make a new future with her. With that desire burning strong in his heart, he stood before the door in her shed and called out to her. Are you awake? It's me, Jacopo. May I come in? I won't hurt you. I will not raise my hand against you again. I swear to you I will do you no harm. I just wish to speak. I would like to have a calm, rational conversation. And as such, I will not enter your room until you have given me your permission. So may I please come in? You won't even give me a response? All right. Considering how you must feel about me, I shouldn't be surprised. Fine. Then you don't have to let me in. But please at least hear me out. Do you remember the day, shortly after we met, when we went on our honeymoon? If you can call that little walk we took a honeymoon. I was unable to do anything nice for you then either. I had no experience, no idea how to interact with an upper-class woman like you. I didn't know what I should do for you. And yes, I know that makes me sound juvenile. I have a tendency to say things I don't mean, the more perturbed I get. I'm sure I said things to hurt you numerous times that day. However, at the photography shop, when you saw the Phenakis scope, forgive me for mispronouncing that again, you smiled for me. I was genuinely pleased in that moment. I felt like I had gotten closer to you. I very much doubt that was actually an appropriate present for a noblewoman like yourself. Jewels or flowers or something like that, something beautiful, would have certainly suited you better. And I knew that, but I assumed you would have been given gifts like that countless times in the past. You are, After all, a beautiful woman. I do not want to have to compete on the same field as those other men. I wanted to be special. No, I wanted to be unique to you. No one has ever shown you anything of that sort before, had they? Frankly, I wasn't sure if a woman of your status would take any interest in a phenacotoscope at all. I imagined you'd thrown it out by now, but I chose to believe you sincerely liked it on that day. That, if just for a moment, I caught your eye. Even if you started seeing other men afterwards, that moment was real, wasn't it? Our marriage was, at its core, nothing but an arrangement between our parents, an exchange of money and influence. That was how it began, but that day I loved you. I yearned to see you smile, as if I had loved you my entire life. The Pacific Railroad has finally been completed. That's the project I've been funding. Everyone thought it was crazy, but a railroad now stretches across the breadth of this country. A joining ceremony will be held tomorrow. It's going to be a grand event. Locally, they're planning on doing a gun salute, and the sound of the last spike being driven into the ground will be transmitted across the country via telegraph. I've procured a telegraph so we can listen to it here in the mansion. In your condition, you would probably have trouble handling the crowds of the telegraph station. But here, you could celebrate in the comfort of your own home. I suppose what I'm saying is, I wanted to celebrate this with you. I've made arrangements to make the possible for you, because I wish to have you there with me. Would you be willing tomorrow to celebrate the completion of the Pacific Railroad with me? Would you be there at my side? Huh? Please, say something. I want to start over. I know very well what I've done to you. You may be at fault yourself, but what I did is unacceptable. But what I did was a consequence of my overpowering love for you. I swear it. Why? Will you not answer me? Say something, anything. Please, please. You can hear me in there, can't you? If you don't want to, you can just say no. If you do reject me, I'll set you free. I won't hurt you, I promise. Huh? The door is not locked? Who opened it? Hello? She left today. A humid spring breeze brushed against his cheeks. The drawn lace curtains appeared to glow in the gentle moonlight. The white-haired girl was not in her room. Where have you gone? Stupefied, he glanced about his wife's chambers. To my eyes, the nearly organized room appeared no different than any other day, but to his eyes, it was pale and hollow. For the one who was supposed to be there, who was supposed to be waiting for him, was not present. He could not hear her voice from anywhere in the shed. In its place echoed a dry rustling, a sad, pitiful, empty whisper of a noise. It came from the lone object left abandoned atop her desk. The phenacotoscope. It was the one present Jacopo had ever given the white-haired girl, a toy made of paper. When spun and viewed in the mirror, it created the illusion of a man and woman dancing. You still had this? That's ridiculous. I assumed you had thrown it out. The white-haired girl had evidently made considerable use of the phenakistoscope. Fuck! I'm sorry I can't say that. The paper was visibly worn and tattered, warped in places, and had even begun to yellow. It spun slowly in the wind, rustling and rustling and rustling, spinning in an endless reminder of the day the year before, though was no longer anyone around to look through it. Why? But you were with other men. Why would you keep something I gave you? It's so worn. Why? A letter? Beneath the ever-rotating phenakistoscope lay a single sheet of paper. As if drawn to it, he scanned the contents of the parchment. It was a letter addressed to Caro mio Jacopo. The salutation, written in his native language, translated as follows: My beloved Jacopo, did the fruits of your dream turn out as you hoped? I am sure it was wonderful and impressively fast. A train that can travel across a continent as large as this is like something out of a story. I wish I could have been there to see it. I'm sure it would have been quite pleasant. Like the day you gave me the Phenacus wheel. Am I being presumptuous? I'm sorry. I thought I would keep waiting for you forever, no matter how much you had hated or ignored me. But I made up my mind, so I'm sorry. I decided I would wait for you until the railroad was completed. I foolishly thought you might invite me to the opening ceremony. Oh, no. But it seems I am not good enough for you. Oh my God. I'm going to take my leave of your house, so you needn't concern yourself with me any longer. However, I do have one request. Please do not forget about all the letters I wrote. Think back on them from time to time. Do not burn them all, for they contain my thoughts, my feelings, my words, a record of my love for you. Remember, when you can, that I was always watching you. I'm sorry I'm having trouble writing. My ears are ringing. There's a voice whispering to me, calling me a witch. Maybe it's your voice. My vision is blur. I'm not even sure what is going through my mind. I'm sorry this was all I was able to write for you. I'm truly sorry. I will leave the Phenacus wheel behind. It was my dearest treasure. Farewell. I loved you. May 8th, 1869. Oh my God. Okay. Jacopo, I hope the first thing you do is try to find her, but the second thing you do is you go confront Maria. Okay, you have to do it that way, man. Holy shit. What the hell is this? He was visibly rattled, and unsurprisingly so. The mention of the Transcontinental Railroad's opening ceremony, the letter she had written, her dearest treasure, her profession of love for him, and above all, the mangled text that appeared to have been written by someone not entirely in the right mind. Everything about it served to amplify his befuddlement. You waited for me? How can that be? The joining ceremony is tomorrow. It hasn't happened yet. Why? Why did you have to leave then? I'm here. I came for you just as I planned. The ceremony's on the 10th. A second later, Jacopo gasped. The date written on the letter was the day prior, May 8th. Originally, this ceremony was planned to be held on May 8th, 1869. However, due to bad weather and a labor dispute, it had been postponed for 2 days. This can't be. I made sure you were informed. I had Maria. Maria. The madam is having an affair. Maria. No, you couldn't. Scattered fragments of memory began coming together in his mind. Maria was the only one who had informed him of his wife's supposed unfaithfulness. And though the letters had not been addressed to him, thinking back on it, they had all been about him. In one letter, she had mentioned treasuring a gift. Jacopo had assumed it meant a gift from another man. But in fact, she had been referring to that sitting atop her desk, still spinning in the wind. At long last, he finally made that connection. And at the same time, he realized the only person who could have altered the letters was someone that they both trusted, Maria. She never, even once, betrayed me. She was not unfaithful at all. She waited unwaveringly for me. And I refused to believe her. I caused her pain again and again. But his realizations came far too late. The white-haired girl's spirit had broken, and she was no longer at the mansion. Had he caught on to Maria's machinations sooner, things would not have turned out as they had. But he was much too late. Maria, why? Why would you do this? Clenching the letter from his wife, Jacopo stormed out of the shed in search of Maria. Oh, here we go. Oh boy, I cannot wait for this. But she was not in the room assigned to her. Shit! Where are you? Where have you gone? Maria! Several maids roused from their slumber by the racket, but no one had the courage to speak up as the master of the house frantically charged through the halls. Eventually, he arrived at his own chamber. He was certain he had closed the door before leaving, but now a sliver of light shone through the gap between it and the frame. From within the room, he thought he could sense someone's presence. When he opened the door, there he saw, comfortably perched upon his own chair, a woman. I've been waiting, Jacopo. Oh, that bitch. Nice room you got here. Though I guess that's only natural. You being the man of the house and all. All these fancy furnishings. You do know this stuff's too good for you, right? And then me, I got the barren little maid's room. Drives me up the wall. So hey, Jacopo. Clear the air with your little lady yet? Maria! I love that look on your face. I'm guessing you didn't make things better then? You know, good and... I'm sorry, that was him speaking. You know, good and well. That she's not even here anymore. Well, yeah. I still want to hear you say it, you know? I want to hear from your own mouth that you couldn't keep a leash on your woman, so you locked her up, drove her mad, broke her down, and then she ran away from you. Go on, say something. Come back on your high horse, start shouting like you always do. Why, Maria? Why would you do this? Why? Why do you think? Because I fucking despise you. Huh? I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to end things, but they just fell apart on their own. The fates are smiling down upon me, I guess. Nonsense. She was waiting for me until the day of the joining ceremony, and I was going to see her on that day. You knew the ceremony had been postponed. That's what you get for putting it all in my hands. For thinking I'm the only one on your side. What do you think? I'd just tell her like a good little maid? Not a chance in hell. I mean, talk about some fantastic news. You both picked the same day, but you've got the dates different. Absolutely perfect. Maria, is that how you've always felt? How long have you held this grudge against me? How long? How long? That editing is bugging my eyes. Usually there's been flashes in the game, but for some reason that one's really bugging me, so sorry. I'd have to wait for my sight to return. Ugh. How goddamn dense can you be? Must be nice living in your little fantasy world, Jacopo. And this is the next Capo Familia? Oh my god, my sight! So you've always hated me? At the very least. I fucking loathed you since the minute we had our reunion. At first I did try to convince you you had your reasons. Didn't make it feel any less unfair, though. You had all the money and all your power and everything else you stole from me. And then you go and get hitched to this pretty little lady. Oh, don't try to act like you're the victim here. This is all on you. You have any idea how I felt? Fallen from grace, made your goddamned maid, having to suck up to you. You have any idea how infuriating that was? Or do you think I didn't know anything? Do you think I didn't suspect anything? If you did, then you've got your head way up in the clouds. So you were motivated by your grudge against my family? The Berzatis? Precisely, that's exactly it. Your father wanted so badly to be the Capo Familia, wanted so badly to be in power, that he murdered my dad and grandpa. They say it was a carriage accident, but the ground was all torn to hell when it happened. You want to tell me that kind of carriage accident causes it to explode? As soon as my dad and grandpa died, your dad took over as Capo Familia. The balance of power in the factions began to change. My family, and anyone else with the ties to the Campanellas was either exterminated or exiled. The Berzatis took control of the city. My grandpa's Casca became your Casca. No one in their right mind would be naive enough to think the Berzatis didn't have a hand in that. The great Campanella family, bitten by their pet dog. Except the dog had rabies. And as a result, in time, that lush, historic land will wither away and die. My dad and grandpa, buried in that dried up earth, are screaming in their graves even now. You can't prove me wrong, can you, Jacopo? And now, first in line to be the next Capophilia is you, his son. Naturally. Feels pretty good, don't it? Slaughtering my family, leaving us to wallow in the mud, while you live here like a fucking king. Because of what your family did, I don't have a home to go back to anymore. No house, no prestige. I have nothing left. And that's goddamn outrageous. The Campanellas are supposed to run that city. But instead, you filthy Berzati curs are crawling all over it like it's some kind of infestation. I'm a legitimate Campanella. But I'm stuck being your goddamn maid. If I hadn't been born a woman, I could have become the Campanella after my dad and grandpa died. But because I'm a woman, I couldn't retaliate. I just had to sit on my hands and watch the tragedy unfold. It was so absolutely miserable. So I had to make you suffer as well. I had to make you as... No. I'd make you twice as miserable as I was. You had no reason to hate anyone but me. Oh, sorry, that's Jacopo speaking. My bad. You had no reason to hate anyone but me. Why did you make her a part of this? Did you have some kind of grudge against her too? Not particularly. Actually, rather liked the madam. Sweet, pretty, kind-hearted, timid, and fragile. Trusted every word I said. A splendid little toy. You thought of her as your toy? Now, can you really call me out for that? You can't. You have no right. You never cared one bit about anyone else. They're all footstools to you. It's a little too late to find yourself a sense of morality. This whole thing, it could have been avoided if you two just had a single conversation. But instead, that both of you came crawling to me, saying, "You're my only ally, Maria." How dense can you be? Of course, I thought you were my ally. I trusted you, as I'm sure she did too. Then you should get your eyes examined, because you can't see a damned thing. Maria? Oh my god, it was beautiful! The way you two blindly trusted me, creating your own misunderstandings and causing your own pain. How you could never seem to get on the same page. Watching it all fall apart? Maria? Is that everything? The extent of your grudge and all that you did? Yep. That's everything. All that's left is for me to kill you. Oh. Oh, shit. Hold still now. I wouldn't want to miss. Maria, you? Does our past mean nothing to you? Was that oath just an empty promise? How could it, when you remember it so clearly? Fine, I'll explain it for our little romantic boy. Bad grown-ups will always take advantage of good memories. Huh? It's time I finally returned this to you, Jacopo. That cartridge you gave me, packed with your disgusting sentimentality. Fuck. Oh, that's the gun too. Shit. How did I not notice that? Fuck. Killing you ain't the end, though. All you Berzati cures, sorry. I'll send every last one of you straight to hell. My revenge has just begun. Even if you had been a man, you wouldn't be a suitable capofamilia. Huh? You should have aimed between my eyes, Maria. Jacopo! Yes! Yes! All right! Oh, yes! Nice shot. Oh, you know why. Why? All right. Well, she at least got her fitting end. In a panic, I pulled the trigger, and from the barrel, A bullet went flying. Quite literally right between her eyes. Would anyone ever believe me if I said this wasn't how I wanted things to turn out? The rain just keeps on coming. I wonder if we'll be able to go home today. Hey, Jacopino! Say something, you little wuss. Don't shout. You're gonna give me a headache. The lightning's way louder than me. Eek! You jumped, Jacopino. You're such a baby. You jumped too. Stop calling me that. Don't be scared. Don't cry. I am not crying. Your eyes are damp too. I'm not crying, not at all. Not one bit. Liar. There's no end to this rain, is there? I'm fine if it doesn't stop. There's nothing at home for me. You don't want to go home? Your parents don't get along, huh? That's got nothing to do with it. Liar. You've got it good. Everyone loves your grandpa. Whenever anyone needs something, they come to him. Now there's a great man. Huh? How'd my grandpa become part of this? Oh, no reason. Not everyone likes him. He gets just as much hate as love. Grandpa's not really a model citizen. He's mostly just shrewd. Are you jealous? I'm not. My old man is, though... Huh? Is he now? Well, your dad's got some good points too, I think. Like, I don't know. He seems like the kind of man who can accomplish big things. Though he seems a lot stricter than my grandpa. Oh, come on. I don't get you. What are you climbing up for? No reason. If you don't want to go home, then how about we go somewhere far away from here? Huh? Once it stops raining, let's get out of here. Head up to the capital, find some work. We could make it work, the two of us. Oh, and we'll bring Nero, of course. If we could. That would be nice. Break free of the city and its outdated traditions. Head somewhere bigger, more forward-thinking. If only it were possible. It's all right, Maria. I know you were just joking. We wouldn't want to be able to find work anyways. If the two of us ran off, we'd be starving in a month. You'd have to be blind not to see that. Right. Let's go home once the rain lets up. Yeah, once it does. But until then, I know, let's sing. Sing even louder than the lightning. Then maybe you'll stop crying, Jacopino. I am not crying. Come on, let's sing. La la liro, la liro, la liro, la liro, la liro. I don't know. La 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 liro, la liro, la liro, la liro, la liro, la liro. Maria, I may not put it into words, but I trust you understand that I consider you a dear friend. Listen to me, Jacopo. My actions were justified. I did what I did for the betterment of the city, this land. The Campanellas are too conservative. Under their control, this country will atrophy. Petrify. Sorry. Progress will continue to lose steam. If we don't push forward, we'll fall farther and farther behind. Before long, you will be made the next Campophilia. But until that day, you will cross over to the New World and establish the Casca there. Unify us, bolster us, make us strong. I'll handle things back here. I won't let the Campanellas try and strike back. What? You want Maria to... It's dangerous to keep a Campanella so close by. She has to be taken care of. If you insist... But do not let your guard down. Betrayal is a constant companion in this world. I'm giving you my revolver. Keep it on you at all times. Glory everlasting upon our blood, and upon this earth. The best I can give you is a job as my maid. If I show you any more obviously preferential treatment, the Birzadis are liable to step in. Money, power, respect, and enough authority to not take orders from anyone. I thought if I could obtain all that, I would be able to give you your freedom, and her as well. I wanted to give you both comfortable lives, but none of that got through to either of you. Everything is slipping through my fingers. Her love, my friendship with Maria, both of their smiles. Master! Master! What was that sound? So much blood. Maria! What happened this time? You keep getting stuck witnessing the worst things. What? What? Call a doctor. Someone with tight lips. Do not call the police. And don't make a scene. Got it? If so, then go on. Yes, sir. Right. Not everything has slipped from my grasp. My money and influence are all that's left. That is what you wanted, though, is it not? You sought money and power, no? Aren't you going to go? Yes, I will. But first, I would like to ask you something. What do you intend to do from here? What am I gonna do? Exactly the same as before. There was but one thing for me to do. I see. Will you eventually find solace in your riches? The way that I see it, money and power can be your ally, but they can become your enemy in the blink of an eye. If you do not push them into words, your feelings will never make it through to anyone. For, unlike money, humans are not measurable by their appearance. He failed to communicate to anyone what he held within his breast. He was chained down by his place in society, his pride, his relationships, and his own heart. And at some point, he found himself in a position where he was no longer able to speak his mind. After enough time, he likely forgot how to be genuine at all. Or perhaps someone like him simply would not, even if they knew how. In any event, there are many things in the world that cannot be communicated without being put into words. How sad that his tale would end without him expressing how he truly felt. How hard it must have been to never clear up his misunderstandings. And after Jacopo's confrontation with Maria, the Pacific Railroad was completed as scheduled. Celebratory cheers shook the new world as the last spike was driven into the rails. Jacopo, however, could not even manage a smile listening to the telegraph. And I am sure you can take a guess as to why. The people with whom he wished to share that moment with were not there. Shortly following her death, Jacopo held a private funeral for Maria. Then he commenced a search for the white-haired girl. But he did not do so alone. He hired others to help, did everything in his power to find her, tirelessly searching for many, many years. However, he was never able to locate her. And he spent the remainder of his life alone. Money, power, renown, servants. The world around him was always quite lively, but solitude was his only companion. He waited, and he waited, and he waited for the white-haired girl to return. The years crawled by, and with no family or loved ones at his side to care for him in old age, he died alone. The door before you slowly drew shut. You could no longer hear the raucous sounds of the men from within the den. The faint scent of cigarette smoke, however, lingered in the air. Staring vaguely at the closed door, you noticed something was amiss. Yes, like I should probably save right now. Considering how quickly the last decision came up when we finished the door. The maid, who had been holding your hand, was no longer at your side. You glanced around, but she was nowhere in sight. Down the corridor stretched only darkness. Not having anticipated this, you were unsure of how to react. What's the matter? You lost, or are you just trying to take in the sights? A voice called out to you, but it was not the maid's voice. Caught off guard, you spun around, confused, in search of the source. Where are you looking? I'm over here. Yeah, there you go. Little more to the left. Following the voice's instructions, you found yourself facing a wall. You look like you just seen a ghost. Hey now, come on, don't turn away. Yep, you got it. I'm the one talking to you. The voice was coming from within the painting. When you had passed by this wall on your way to the third door, a magnificent landscape painting had been hanging there. But now, the canvas was a deep shade of black, as if it had been dipped into a vat of ink. Been a while since I've talked to anyone. So tell me, you can hear me all right, can't you? Splendid. Been so long since I had a conversation. I was afraid I might have forgotten how to talk. So tell me, who might you be? You don't know? Well, isn't that quite the pickle? Then how about we have a little chat, huh? You got yourself turned around and aren't sure where to go, yeah? Well, I'll be happy to tell you anything I can. Just ask away. The painting sounded rather high-spirited. Perhaps he was simply excited to have the opportunity to speak with someone. So you decided you would ask the painting a few questions. Okay. it gonna matter what I ask? Okay. Who am I? Who are you? Okay. What is this place? Who's the maid? I think out of everything, since my interests are mostly, I'm curious about the location and our character, but let's be a little fun and hold off the ones I'm most curious about till later. Let's ask who the maid is. Who is the maid? Might as well ask her that directly. But she won't say till you regain your old self. I see. Well, in that case, if you want to know, you know what you gotta do. It's entirely up to you whether you make an ally or an enemy out of her. There's no guaranteeing she's even right in the head. You never know. Maybe you're not the only one who hasn't found themselves. Okay. Who are you? Me? Well, as you can see, I'm a painting. Why did I end up as a painting? Hard to say. Maybe I was reborn as a painting because I used to be really like art. Although there are things I painted that I wish I hadn't. Maybe that regret's what turned me into this. Hopefully I get the chance to apologize to him about that. Anywho, no point in getting into any more detail than that. Wouldn't mean anything to you. So enough about me. Oh, right. You don't know anything about yourself. A shame, that. Alright then. A favor for you, since you can't tell me about yourself. If you run into him, could you tell him I really regret what I did? I know I should tell him myself, but, well, as you can see, I'm stuck here. Can't move an inch, so I've got to ask for help. I feel absolutely terrible about painting that picture. I know, yeah, deadline's way past due on that one. But that's what makes it regret, yeah? Because you can't take it back. By the time I had realized it was too late, he was already dead. He's long since passed away. Huh? How are you supposed to give a dead fellow a message? Well, for all you know, the dead could be wandering these halls too. So please, if you come across him, tell him I said that. That I didn't mean any harm with that painting. Or maybe you are him? So does that confirm that our character is a male then? We'll see. Okay. What is this place? Oof, talk about some hard-hitting questions. I'm probably not the one who'll be able to answer that for you. I don't have a very deep connection with this mansion, you see. I swear it, I got nothing to gain from lying, do I? It's my regrets that have turned me into this. I wasn't summoned here by no one. That said, there is one thing I can tell you. This place summons people. People who have ties to something that happened long, long ago. No one knows anything ever even happened. I don't know either, till she told me. Do I haven't the foggiest how much of it's true or not? Are you here because you were summoned by her? Or did you come here of your own will to find someone? If you came here of your own volition, and you weren't summoned by her, then mayhaps you'll be the one who can break. Okay, well, who am I? Just because you don't know who you are doesn't mean you can't go around asking other people. I'm not a person, you say? Well, no, you're right, but I'm not going to know anything about you that you can't tell me yourself. I mean, from where I'm standing, You look almost like a walking cloud of shadow. I can't even tell what you look like. The maid was with you before. Did she call you master? I see. But the question is, which era's master are you? How many doors have you been through? 3 doors, huh? And of those, did any of them bring anything back? Ah. Well, it's not an easy thing recovering yourself. Or maybe you weren't behind any of those 3 doors. Yeah, that's gotta be it. It was your first time witnessing those tragedies. Yours is another door. So tell me, how did you feel looking behind those doors? Was it frightening? Saddening? Heart-wrenching? Well, let me tell you something. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. If the next door you open is yours, will you be able to bear it? Will you be able to accept your own tragedy? It's one thing seeing others suffering, but your own. You have to face emotions you wanted to keep buried, secrets you wanted to keep hidden away, and pain you wanted to forget. Do you think you'll be able to accept them as your own? If you can't, I won't blame you. I wouldn't accuse you of running if you chose to not reclaim your old self. Nothing wrong with erasing your memory of something if it was so bad you didn't want to face it in the first place. Let it be rewritten as someone else's story. That'll make it a whole lot easier for you. Because you never know. The most unfortunate tale of all may well be your own. Or perhaps that goes for everything about you. You won't know till you see it. Well, that's true enough. But once you do, there might not be any turning back. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. A tragedy that's too beautiful to be real must be a fabrication. I don't think any of them, though, have been... Yeah, every one of them is a real tragedy. But what does he mean that by they have to be a fabrication? I'm not sure what he's meaning here. Because for, when people say like, oh, it's so perfect, it must be scripted. It's like, well, it's because we can script them, but we pull from reality to write the scripts, so. If it turns out you're someone from behind the next door, then perhaps you're my... Haven't talked that much in a long time. Feels great. And I've got that on my system. I should be able to get some good sleep. You're probably wondering in the dark right now. I really hope you find that outcome you want. And I mean that. You can either reclaim your old self, or you can toss it aside. The choice is yours either way. Now, since it looks like your escort isn't showing up, what do you plan to do next? To save. We're going to go to this one next. We'll go down. How about taking a look around the place since you've got a little free time? Could be you come across some things you wouldn't with her around. Oh, right. If you're gonna go exploring, I've got the perfect thing. Stick your hand into the canvas, would you? The painting was still wrapped around an impenetrable darkness. A perfect, all-consuming void. The man had told you to put your hand into it. You? Ah. That's a good thing I saved. Okay. I don't know what I want to pick. Damn. Reach into the frame or refuse. We're gonna refuse. You did not reach into the painting. You were not interested in being swallowed by the darkness that could lead anywhere. Well, if you don't want it, so be it. I'm not gonna force you to take it. What waits ahead will probably not be pleasant. But if you think of it as someone else's pain, it should take a little of the weight off. Farewell. And with that, the painting fell silent. Had you made the correct decision? After considering it for a few moments, you decided to explore the mansion on your own. Oh, dang. Let's go to the fireplace. You made your way to the room with the fireplace. What remained of the fire crackled weakly, leaving the room in a veil of darkness. You remembered that you had woken here. Yeah, you know what? Because I saved it and I would, I'm probably going to go over the other things anyways. Nah, we're going to go back. I want to know what he was going to offer me. We'll remember, I saved it in a whole nother column, so it's actually a good thing because that'll signify to me that I made a decision here. So I can explore the other options by doing this. Alrighty. No, we're going to take it. I don't know why I was so hell-bent on refused. I guess I was just getting nervous. Okay. Reach into the frame. You extended your hand for the painting. The moment your fingertips brushed against the darkness, it swallowed your entire hand up to the wrist. No, not there. It tickles a little to the right. As the man in the painting had instructed, you groped around the inside of the darkness. Before long, you felt something at your fingertips. Clenching the object, you withdrew your hand. Your arm was still intact. You spread your fingers, and there you found a key. That tickled. With that key, you can access the master bedroom. A while back, she tossed it into me. The damned litter bug. So yeah, it ain't mine. Don't worry about giving it back. However, I bet there's something worth seeing in there if she felt the need to toss that key. Alright, well, I'm gonna get some sleep. You take care. If you happen to learn my name, come pay me another visit. Should the fancy strike you. Okay. Having said all that, the painting fell quiet. In your hand lay a small key. It seemed rather antiquated and vaguely familiar. Silence once again drew over the corridor. You stood there all alone, no sign of the maid. After considering it for a few moments, you decided to explore the mansion on your own. Okay, we'll go to the fireplace. So the master bedroom. So I want the key. Let's go to some other locations first, though. You made your way to the room with the fireplace. What remained of the fire crackled weakly, leaving the room in a veil of darkness. You remembered that you had awoken here. Out of the sheer curiosity, you sat down in the rocking chair you had been asleep in. Creak, creak, creak. It was as soothing as a cradle to a baby, and in short order, you found your consciousness drifting from your grasp. Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes it feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master? I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they'll be near the fire. Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say, do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library? Your eyes slowly slid open. Fragments of a pleasant dream lingered in the back of your mind. The crackling of a fire, the taste of warm wine. However, there was nothing pleasant about the fireplace sitting before you. No warm, crackling flames. In fact, the brisk air of the room overpowered the remnants of embers left there. A chill ran down your spine. Afraid you might freeze stiff if you stayed there much longer, you resumed your exploration of the mansion. Go see the stained glass window. You approached the stained glass window. An array of pews was arranged facing the stained glass. There seemed to be an air of tranquility about the room. You sat down in one of the pews and stared quietly forward for some time. For a moment, you felt you were on the verge of recalling something, but ultimately the memory never managed to surface. The maid did not appear to be there. Where could she have gone? You decided to resume exploring the mansion. Go to the library. The smell of dusty books filled the air of the library. You approached the shelf to examine one of the books. Oh. And suddenly an avalanche of them came falling to the floor. You stared blankly at the mountain of books. They had fallen down on their own, but they showed no signs of putting themselves away. Duh. Since no one else was there to do it, you began placing the books back on the shelf. 1, 2, 3, a dozen. And as soon as you had gotten them all back up, they came crashing down again. Yeah, I've had this happen. You wished very much to implore of the maid's assistance, but she did not appear to be in the area. Pretending you had not seen anything, you made her way back into the... Yeah. Let's go downstairs to the cellar. I want to see what's in that box. When you descended into the cellar, you heard beast-like snarling. Along with it came a sour odor and the sound of ripping flesh. You could not see the beast, but that did not make it any less unpleasant. You made to retreat from the cellar. But before you could, a shadowy creature lunged at you. You reflexively squeezed your eyes shut. And after several moments, you opened your eyes again to find a silhouette of a man standing in place of the beast. You and the shadow stared at one another for some time. You asked the shadow a question, and the shadow responded. However, you had no idea what it said. The shadow seemed to be trying to communicate something to you, but trying to make sense of something you could not understand was pointless. Having no reason to remain in the cellar any longer, you made your way back upstairs. Let us go to the den. The scent of cigarette smoke lingered in the den. However, the room was silent. Not even an echo of the man's chattering remained. Something was moving. Billiards balls. There was no one present to strike the balls. They rolled spontaneously around the table. The paths they traced across the surface were rough and erratic, contrasting that of what the former master had held the cue. The spheres collided awkwardly with one another, not a single one coming close to the pockets. As an experiment, you pulled a ball off the table. In response, the paths of the balls became even clumsier. Having lost one of their targets, they began bouncing aimlessly off the cushioned walls of the table. As you stared intently at the table, a man's voice rang out from somewhere in the room. Spinning around, you saw the silhouette of a man. However, you could not make out what the man was saying. The man thrust his finger on the table. He appeared to want you to return the ball. You reluctantly placed the billiards ball back on the table. When you did, the balls resumed endlessly colliding with one another, never landing in any of the pockets. You looked up to find the shadow gone. Having determined that the maid was not going to appear in the den, you exited the room, making your way back into the corridor. Alrighty, let us go to the entrance. You made your way to the mansion's entrance. There was no one around, nor any source of light. Groping through the darkness, you found the front door, which was sealed shut with a heavy bar. You pressed against the bar, but it remained firmly in place. The door did not budge either. It seemed you could not leave the mansion. Burn the witch. Crucify the impure. When you made the step away from the entrance, you heard a muffled voice. You looked around, but were unable to determine the source of the voice. Nor could you be sure whom you had heard either. Giving up on finding anything at the entrance, you decided to head somewhere else. Let's go to the Rose Garden. It's interesting that the garden's here after it was destroyed by Jacopo. Look, your head is covered in roses. Oh, you got petals on the book. This isn't mine. I can't afford to. You could hear the sound of children laughing. You could not see them. So this is what's his name? Mel and Nellie, I think. Regardless, their cheerful voices warmed your heart. You decided to linger there in the garden for some time. Along with the children's laughs waved a sweet fragrance. The wind blew, whisking flower petals up into the air. It was an enchanting sight. But after a while, the roses began to wilt. You could no longer hear the children's voices either. A young man stood alone in the withered rose garden. As you drew nearer, you called out to the youth, but the young man did not appear to notice you. He merely stood there, staring vacantly across the garden. The youth muttered something in a lifeless voice. "This isn't what I wanted. I just wanted a normal, peaceful life. I can't bear being alone." I can't take this. Someone, get me out of here. Oh God. Tell me, it's not all my fault. You tried to call out the young man several times, but he did not seem to hear you. He simply continued muttering to himself. Before long, the youth's shadow faded into nothing. Unable to bear the chilly air any longer, you stepped back into the mansion. All right. Let's save it here. Let's go to the master bedroom. We got the key. You inserted the key you had been given into the door's keyhole, and with a twist, the door opened. The master bedroom was shrouded in darkness, much like every other room in the mansion. It had evidently been left unused for some time. The air in the room was stale and forlorn. "Master?" A voice seemed to ring out from somewhere. "Come on, get up." "Up with you." "Master." "See? What did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light." Without warning, the whole world took on a bright, vivid color. Light streamed through the window, illuminating a well-lived bedroom. A woman's silhouette stood before you. Wait a sec. Don't you hide under your bedspread. Get out of there." "Oh, but Master, you agreed I could open the windows." "Don't worry, I've put the curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best part of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You haven't got to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of leaves." You tried to call it to the silhouette, but it did not respond. Reaching out for her, your hand simply passed through her body. It did not seem to be you that she was speaking to. Perhaps you were looking at a scene from some other period of time. I wonder if we need to hang on to the maid's hand in order to, perceive these beings. Forgive me, I was just drinking some water. Anyways. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now? I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too. Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make me your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know! We can get this place cleaned up. Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place. It would be more interesting if we got an inkling as to who these people could be. When the woman's shadow faded away, the master bedroom transformed back into its old dreary state. Master, can you say my name? You were unsure how to describe the urge welling up within your breast. You could not say her name. You stood unmoving in the master bedroom for some time, but it did not appear anything else was going to happen. So you decided to head somewhere else. That's interesting. We get that option again. Go see the stained glass window. You returned to the room with the stained glass window. You had searched throughout the mansion, but had no luck finding the maid. You felt somewhat tired, though you were not quite sure whether it was physical exhaustion or otherwise. You had little interest in doing any more moving about. Taking a seat in one of the pews, you gazed up at the stained glass. Staring solemnly back down at you was the archangel said to weigh the souls of the deceased. Perhaps he was trying to weigh your soul. Call for the maid. Master? Master! Oh, there you are, Master. You gave me quite the scare. After returning from the third door, you disappeared without a word. Oh my. It was I who disappeared? This is quite strange. I did not go anywhere, as far as I'm aware. Nevertheless, I am glad to have found you. I would have been a complete loss for what to do if I had separated from you yet again. I did indeed say that when you first arrived. I've been waiting for your return for a very long time. For centuries, as a matter of fact. That would make me a ghost, then, you say? I am very much not a ghost. Would I be able to hold your hand if I were? Saying this, the maid took your hand. It was cold enough to send a shudder down your spine, and completely void of life. Though, as chilling as it may have been, you still took comfort in the feeling of her hand in yours. The maid looked down at you with gentle eyes. After a few moments of silence, she sat down beside you. The stained glass is quite beautiful, is it not? Every time I see it, it brings a tranquility to my heart. A dreadful, deep-rooted curse afflicts this mansion. However, this room is the one exception. Can you feel the purity that hangs in the air, Master? Yes? What is it, Master? You are correct. The stained glass window has been shattered and was not present in the time period of the previous tale. I wonder... Perhaps it is because the mansion we are in presently resides in a realm separate from the real world. We are in a world constructed from a myriad memories and histories. I'm not sure that when you regain your old self, Master, the mansion too shall be restored to its original state. So do try to remember, all right? Oh yes. Where did you go in my absence, Master? I see. So you explored the mansion then? And did you find anything noteworthy? Memories? I'm not quite sure what you mean. How peculiar. As a servant of this house, I pride myself in being aware of most everything present within these walls. I wonder whose memories they could be. The key to the master bedroom. Why did I throw away the key? I beg your pardon? You say a painting told you. You could see perplexity on the maid's face. You had never seen her make such an expression before. I know nothing of any key. Oh, Master, you should not tell jokes meant to cause others discomfort. But a talking painting, you say? You seem to have a rather vivid imagination. Maybe you can tell the next tale, Master. I am only teasing. Now, that was a nice break, but we should get moving. The tale I'm about to show you is the last of the mansion's memories. I am certain you'll remember yourself after seeing it. To our feet, the final door is not far. And please, do not let go of my hand. Holding your hand, the maid led you to the far end of the room. Crossing beneath the stained glass window, a metal door came into view. Our destination lies at the top of these stairs. There we will find one last door. She pushed open the metal door, revealing a long, long spiral staircase. Since we've been going more and more into present times, I wonder if any of these doors will actually show somewhere in modern day. It will be a bit of a walk, so let us be on our way. I should probably save. Okay, so that went down there. We'll go this way. Well, no, actually no. Continue going down, and I'll come back and I'll save it that way. Okay. And please, do watch your step. This is called an observation tower. Normally, towers such as this were built in castles or churches, so it's rather strange for there to be one in a mansion. The last door I wish to show you, Master, resides at the top of this tower. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in several locations along the way up the spiral staircase. You attempted to peer out of one of the windows, but all you could see was a thick layer of fog. Perhaps the maid's suggestion that the mansion did not presently reside in reality was, in fact, correct. With each step upward, you found yourself gripped by an indescribable sense of anxiety. The feeling somewhat resembled irritation or annoyance. Sensing this, the maid tightly gripped your hand. There's nothing to worry about. You will be fine. It is all in the past. No matter what may happen, as long as you do not let go of my hand, you have nothing to fear. You and the maid continued climbing the stairs. Up and up, around and around, marching ever nearer to the supposed final door. High up in the tower, as the light from below drew distant, a rotten wood door came into view. Patches of what appeared to be blood stained on the surface, and holes had been bored into it with sharp objects of some sort. You heard a scream from far below, where no one should have been. Kill the witch, kill the witch, kill the witch. Burn her, burn her, burn her. You were struck with fear. The next moment, the maid opened the door. And then... you slowly descended into darkness. The fourth door. 1090. Oh, we drew way back. Even before the first door. Okay. And also pour water into it. Gather the pieces, therefore, into it. Even every good piece, the high and the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock and burn also the bones under it, and make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it therein. Thus saith the Lord, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. The white-haired girl, okay. Where is she? Where'd she go? Huh? She came down this way, I'm sure of it. Find her. Find her. And burn her. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Burn her. Burn her. Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. And I will also water with thy blood the land, wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains. And the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I shall cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. I seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do? Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All the strokes of my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in the shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how long I've been on the run, wandering aimlessly, lost, until I arrive at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father, who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart, and ask thee of thy blessing. O Father, who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. O Father, who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly. Hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go, but nevertheless I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me unto salvation. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, when it became endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice had become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begun sinking into a hazy morass. That mansion appears before me, wrapped in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. Oh my, The mansion comes into view like the world fading into after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives here. All the windows are either boarded up or shuttered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place in a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems to be as thought as it could disappear in the fog. It is an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, if this is where you had led me, then I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation, the light that guides my way. And so I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, that this is where I will find peace. Also, is the silhouette this girl then? The white-haired girl? Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in the house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering around these woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. The door is heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window is open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not going to open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like a door will fall out from under me, and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of the long corridor. I pull it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anyone here? My voice simply disappears into the void. No response. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered by drapes. My chances are slim, I imagine, but if there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. Huh? The next moment, faint but colorful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I can hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it finally started. The different colors of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly, I hear a voice. I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. Oh, is it Michael? Before long, he comes into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. Okay. Okay, so this is Michael. I'm trying to remember the name of the girl that we were in the that we were within perspective of that first time. Um, was it Giselle or something like that? Could that be her name? I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. Hmm. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. Has he been here the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. Well, no, it can't be because her approaching this house was different than this one. White-haired girl was chased here. Okay. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. It gives off the impression he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies. I assumed the house was abandoned. I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned. Not at all. Is this, do you live in this mansion? Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I left it open. Okay, but when that one time that we passed the window and we thought we saw white hair, and the painting called us a he. Maybe we are Michael. Let's see if that's the case. What brings you here? If you're lost, I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. It should take you maybe half a day on foot. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. Okay, this is like almost word for word. Trade it for the food of the village and make your way to a larger town. Please allow me to stay here. Could you repeat that? I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I'm no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted. You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed. I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it has been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out. I see. And you ask this of me aware of how other people refer to this mansion. Pardon? It is said that a witch once lived in this house. And not just any witch, a cursed witch. This house has been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise. But you live here, don't you? Like her, I too am cursed. Huh? What kind of curse? The one thing that I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life. You'll kill me? Yes, so you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death. No matter which path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me that I must stay here, that I was guided here, and hearing what you have to say only reinforces that. What are you scheming? I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms or rip the flesh from my bones. That's enough for me. If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently? I am accused of being a witch. Master? Master? Please wake up. Return to me. Ah, you have come too, Master. I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. It must have given you quite the scare. But I beg for your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs, and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl. I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I'm deeply relieved I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you have already grown familiar with the atmosphere of the time period, Master. If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. The snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that this door is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed, though one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered takes us to a period now known as the Middle Ages, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known if, after this tale, you're still unable to reclaim your old self. Then there's nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I'm able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in a dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell in the house. It was a young man named Michael. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Yeah, forgive me, I was just taking a drink of water. Despite Michael's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michael, and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I will clean or cook or anything. Just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here. You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain. But I can't just stay here and do nothing. Do whatever you like. As long as you do not enter my room. That is all I ask of you. He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michael was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem adverse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can, but should not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life, and she was so deeply grateful for that. Thus begun their quiet life together. Michael, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl, who had not taken a great deal of abuse from others, Two people who knew hardly anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michael spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michael better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed, why he lived alone in this dark mansion, how many days, how many years he had spent in solitude. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust had settled there much heavier than in any other room. With each breath she took to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. They're books. Incredible. Real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them. That was the first time that she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire with some degree of social rank. Books were not printed in with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek. Just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and embossing, and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it still was just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book toward her. Ah! The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together. So when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. Come here. Hey. Come here. Come here. Oh, my puppy wants attention. Hi there. And then... Ah! Almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow, 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 ow! The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it happened in the fall, but nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back on her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then, suddenly, a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly toward the white-haired girl, then changed course toward another book. It was Michael. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry, your books, What were you doing? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books. There's no need to panic. I'm sorry. You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you. What? Did you want to read a book? I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean. Clean? Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle. I did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything. I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. You needn't apologize. Okay. If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books. But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it. You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means. These are all your books, aren't they? They are. That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all. One per month. What? My family sends me one every month. Every month? The white-haired girl turned her gaze back toward the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. She was at a loss of words. They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for. I see. If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I am going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up. Just a minute. Was there anything else? Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward. I want to, though. Michael. Michael. Like the Archangel. The name suits you quite well. It suits me. It does. Although it's difficult to see you in the dark, you seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name. I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it. I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name. And your? No, never mind. Oh, my name. My name is Giselle. Okay. So that was the name from... Oh, shoot. That was the name... Ah, crap, I spilled water. Okay, well, water can dry up. We're good. 1 second. Just grabbing a cloth to soak up a little bit of that water. There we go. That's better. My name is Giselle. Side note, Giselle's a really pretty name like that. So, we finally have the name of the white-haired girl. If I recall though, unless she does become reincarnated each time. Because I was going to say, her meeting Michael and the other things seemed to occur differently in the beginning. But, okay. Anyways, my name is Giselle. Please, call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness. For what? I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad I got to hear your voice. So very glad. You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it. I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house. You do not understand me at all. As I said in the first day, my curse will one day kill you. But I'm still alive, aren't I? You are welcome to believe I'm lying, or that I'm merely out of my mind. But it will be too late for you to realize the truth. I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me not of concern? No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone. I would like to interact with you. If you don't mind, that is. As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words, to give you. My body is but a shell. Even if I were not cursed, my presence would do naught but cause you discomfort. I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And all of that only causes other pain either. If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone? Resent them? I can take a guess as to why people called you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes. That abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. And I can think of any number of reasons they might have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune. Or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague. Some kind of external phenomenon. And you were the scapegoat. Yes. You are, by large and large, correct. Then that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to have your interests in mind. Goodbye. If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime? Did you listen to anything I said? I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it, if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Michael, made his way out of the library, he appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart. Or perhaps it was something else. She stared down through the darkness into which Michael had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips. He's a decent man. I'm sure of it. We are alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who also knew solitude, I'm a little interested in the fact that we get her name, yet we keep calling her the white-haired girl. I wonder why that is, if there's a reason for that. And actually, I believe we shall end it there. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious about this, and I'm happy that we saved it before any of the options were made. So, that's a good thing. We shall save. We didn't make any choices yet, so yeah, we'll continue to save on this one. Okay. So yeah, we're pardon me. So yeah, now we're going way back in time. We're seeing somehow, or according to May, the origins of everything. So let's hope that we were able to figure it all out and be able to put some pieces together. Because right now I'm not so sure I understand what the connective tissues are yet. So hopefully things are revealed here, and we can try to traverse this. Navigate everything. Maybe I'm guessing that maybe this might be the longest of them all. This is indeed the last door, but who knows? Because just because we get through the doors, it doesn't necessarily mean the end of the game is there. So, but yeah, I'm intrigued and I'm looking forward to more. Well, when I figure out when I'm going to stream again, I'll put up the announcement. Maybe tomorrow evening. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, I think that'll do it for today. So, yeah, no comments on from the live stream. That's fine. Hopefully next time, though, some folks come up who are who want to interact and such. But for all that are listening and who stopped by, you know, thanks. I appreciate it. I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you're enjoying my little journey through the story. I'm loving it so far. So, anyways, like I said, I'll throw the announcement on minds.com when I can figure out when I'm going to get back to it. And until then, I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying your lives. You know, and that you're being happy. And if you're having a hard time finding that happiness, hope that you can figure out how to achieve it sometime in the future. So, anyways, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care, and have a good day.